Hey guys, hope you're doing well today, and thanks for tuning in to another episode here at the Mortgage Maze. We're so excited to have you with us today. And my name is Brian Taylor with Dreamline Realty if this is your first time to the channel. So let me ask you guys a question, okay? Has this ever happened to you? So play along with me here for a second, all right? So here's the scenario. You just talked with your loan officer and applied for a mortgage, and within like 15 minutes of having your credit pulled, your phone starts blowing up with spam calls from all of these different mortgage companies across the country wanting to talk to you about their great offers and super low interest rates. And you're sitting there wondering, like, what in the heck is happening right now? And then you start thinking, is my loan officer up to anything? Has he done anything to create this chaos? Well, the fact of the matter is your loan officer didn't have anything to do with this at all. What actually happened is you just became a trigger lead. So congratulations to you. And that's what we're talking about in today's video. But the good news is we've got Stephen Knorr with Alcova Mortgage joining us again today, and he's going to explain exactly what these trigger leads are and how to make your phone stop ringing even before you apply for a mortgage. So with that said, I want to bring Stephen onto the channel and talk about this very interesting topic of trigger leads. So Stephen, how are you today?
Hey Brian, I'm well. Good to hear from you. Glad to be on the channel.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. We haven't scared you away yet, have we?
No, not at all. This is going great, and got some great comments, great feedback, and we're doing this just to educate people. And yeah, this topic is it's frustrating for the client, and it's equally as frustrating for myself, the lender, because a lot of the times I get blamed for this, and I have no control over it. When a mortgage company pulls your credit, anyone's credit, first of all, we have to pay a fee to a company to pull credit, a substantial fee. It's one of our largest costs as a branch, actually. And then those companies, they're third-party companies, companies you've never heard of, but we put the request into the third-party credit company. They issue us the report, and at that same time, they sell that data to a bunch of other internet companies, people like Zillow, Realtor.com, Rocket Mortgage. So you as a consumer, even though you want to use me as a lender and I want you to be my client, I am forced to pay to run your credit. And then that company is allowed to sell for profit, big profit, your information. And it's not a few of them. Brian, actually, I think there's a screenshot you have of a text message from a client that said, hey, stop. This isn't stop, Stephen. This is crazy. Well, it's not me. But we do have some ways to kind of prevent this. But the main thing is, if there was a way I could just stop it right now, I would love to, because it creates, accidental competition where your phone's getting blown up with overseas and out of area numbers that want to try to steal your business from me. And a lot of the times they're not making realistic offers anyway. So it just creates a lot of confusion and frustration for both of us. I'm sure you've seen that too with all your years in the business, Brian.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's so frustrating because, it's like the poor consumer has no control of this, right? And at the same time, like you mentioned, they kind of think like we have done something to make this happen. But according to the authorities, it's legal to do this, right?
It is part of the CFPB and their all the good they do. They do allow for consumer shopping, and they do allow for this data to be sold if you are not on certain lists. So one thing that we do, our team, is that we give you the two numbers that are going to contact you, which is basically my number and then the loan partner's number. They're all local area codes. So in the event that you're not on one of the lists we're about to talk about that might prevent this, you know which ones to call. I mean, you know which ones to answer when we call and text. In the website we're talking about is opt-out pre-screen. I think you have that tab, Brian, just kind of show everyone what it looks like.
Yeah.
But if you
go ahead, I got it up now.
Perfect. We got it. We can see that. So if you're thinking about buying a house, even in the next little bit, go ahead and do this. Even if you're not, this can prevent a lot of spam a lot of junk from coming into your world. But when you're on this list, it prevents your data from being sold. So that's the kind of loophole, is that the consumer has the ability to opt out from certain data being released from these other companies. And it's more than just mortgages. It's credit cards. It's anytime somebody runs your credit, basically. So if you're not on the list and they scan those, then you're getting sold and your phone's gonna blow up. So I believe this is good for 5 years. It takes a couple weeks to hit. So that's why we try to tell people, if you're thinking about getting a house, go ahead and do this now. We have a process we use where if you're not on the list and you want to wait, we can do a soft credit pull, so it doesn't get sold, but we can at least still kind of get you an approval per se, but not let your data get breached. I shouldn't say breached, because it's not. It's if you're not on the list, they can sell it legally, and that'll help the consumer from getting a lot of headaches and frustration.
Yeah, and I think if you scroll down here, and guys watching this, I'm going to put the link to this website down below in the video description. But if you go down here to the bottom, I think it's really simple to do. You just click on this button that says click here to opt in or out. Then you put in your information and there you go. But I think, as you mentioned, Stephen, it might take a few days for it to register, which is why I think you had mentioned, wait a few days before you pull the credit, right? Just so it's in the system.
Yeah. We will communicate with the client and figure out, but for anyone watching, if you're doing some education, do it now. It's literally free, and worst case scenarios, it prevents you from getting on any list that you don't want to be on, because we all get those calls, that the robo dials, the things that we know we don't want to answer. This can prevent a lot of that. And I believe the next tab, Brian, is just something that you're going to put down there as well, that just shows what is a trigger lead, how does this happen, and why, for those people that like to dive in and do a little bit of extra research. This will give you all that information. I don't want to get into all the weeds on that, but this will be the research piece for those that want to take that deep dive.
Yeah, that's awesome. Super informative information, Stephen. Absolutely fantastic stuff to talk about, because I think a lot of people just don't know. They don't know. Now, this is a way to help people kind of opt out of, obviously opt out is what that's called, opt out pre-screen, but to stop people from having to deal with that. And like you said, we're here to educate people, tell people what we know to help make their lives easier. And this is definitely one thing I think a lot of people can definitely appreciate. So, guys, if you are finding value in this video, give it a like. And comment below if you've had an experience with some of these robocalls after you've applied for a mortgage. And finally, if there's any videos or topics you would like us to talk about on this channel, drop those down in the comments below as well. And we'll put those on our radar and we'll get those videos out to you guys. But guys, if you need my help in your home search, as I always talk about, I'm super easy to get a hold of. All of my contact info is in the description below. The easiest and most efficient way for us to connect is to hop on a Zoom call, spend a few minutes talking about your situation, or if you just have general real estate questions, just hop on a Zoom call with me, scan that QR code, or go to that website at Smooth Move Call. That'll take you right to my calendar. We can sit down and have a chat, and the same here goes for Stephen. All his contact information is there as well, and that QR code will take you right to his calendar there. So guys, I thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Stephen, any other words you have before we wrap this one up?
No, sir. Just, as a consumer, know your rights, do your due diligence, and try to prevent any unwanted solicitations from coming into your world. And if anybody has any questions, we are always here to assist.
Yep, absolutely, guys. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss out on any of our future videos every single week, including the videos that I put out about real estate market updates and all the other stuff that we're doing. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, make it a great day. We'll catch you next time.